Hello everybody and welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker, where we are playing as our paranoid sorcerer Coswin. We're kind of on a bit of a walkabout today in our kingdom. We're trying to map out the whole curve of the Skunk River, like all the way up to the areas that we have mapped out, kind of get that going. We do have like trolls and stuff that are coming out of the gnarl marshes, so hopefully we can kind of like find where their like lair is. That is that's something we need to do. So I mean, we got some options for that. So but before we do, I want to kind of clear this ford across the Skunk River. I think that would be a good idea. So we're going to enter here. Probably could have done this before we established our kingdom, but I didn't want to spend that long just kind of like walking about. So yeah, let's
I'll go ahead.
Let's see what we got in this ford. Ooh. Quick, you've got to help us? Ooh. Through the Atlas have been vanished and a rightful government has been established. Help the beleaguered travelers. All right. Forward! Forward!
I'm not afraid.
They go down!
All right. Tavia, try helping.
Your
We're going in through here.
Low.
Yeah, we don't need that. These are not very impressive creatures. And Valerie, you go after that archer. All right, we're surrounding them. We got him. Quick, you've got to help us. What? There's another band coming out? More kobolds. Tartuk. Wait a minute. So, the gnome invites some of his friends. I can't do that. Stupid, slow, sluggish gnomes. Gnome. Stupid. There's a purple kobold on the riverbank who looks just like your old acquaintance, Tuccio. That can't be. I murdered him. Kobolds want this cart. Kobolds shall have it. The horse skull hides most of the kobold's face, but you've seen his vicious eyes glinting through the empty sockets, staring at you. By orders of myself, the glorious king, Tartuk. The kobold pounds his chest with his fist. Tartuk, king! The head of the gnome expedition wipes his brow and glares at the kobold. This bastard was the one tucking our ears off while the rest of them were trying to steal our cart. King Tartuk, the gnome looks at you and winks. What do you say to a bit of regicide? I am technically royalty. I think I need to mention this when you make that joke. Tortuccio, I recognize you. What is this new disguise, and why are you not dead? Probably flip those around. Why aren't you dead, and what's with the disguise? Easy. Let's discuss this. Yeah, what's with the disguise, and why are you alive? How dare you speak to the king? Speak like that to a king? Kobolds, attack! All right. Sure does. I'm not sure what that means. Ooh. Oh, we cast something on him.
To victory!
All right. Form up. We got kobolds about. I know they're kobolds, but they just got something cast on them, so I don't trust anything. All right. Attack!
Stay behind me!
Hey! What a waste.
All right. Alright. It's a bad hit on that gnome. Alright, we do that. Inspire courage! Charge! Alright. Let me just go ahead and, yeah, let's do another one of these on the sniper. I dislike that there's a sniper kobold.
I'll fight if I have to.
Alright, he's down. See you soon enough. This is not over. Quick, fire arrows where it used to be. My cart, it's sinking. Okay, save the caravan from the... Oh, save the caravan's cart. While the gnomes were busy fighting the kobolds, furiously cursing and delighting punching their unwelcome guests right in their dragonish snouts, the cart was all but forgotten. The unwitting cause of the fight, it was being dragged away by the scared ponies when it slid down the ford, sinking all the way up to the coachman's seat in the river. This is where the Skunk River flows into the Tuskwater, and the current becomes increasingly spiteful, cold, stubborn, turbulent. Good having the thesaurus with you, Lindsay. Having been taking hold of the gnome's cart, the Skunk River must have decided to drag it down amid all the commotion, but it was caught in the act. The surrounding gnomes, led by the head of the gnome expedition, an extremely loud and crabby fellow, but not without some managerial talent, was able to catch the cart before it floated away. Faces red and grunting from the strain, they struggled to keep it from drowning entirely. Just then, a package fell from the water. With a heartbreaking splash, it vanished beneath the current, only to resurface 10 meters down the river. No! The head of the gnome expedition moaned as he glowered at the package. That was Alchemy in Life, the latest issue! After plunging into the cold river, the ponies immediately lost their nerves. Swiveling their ears and twitching, they tried to chew through the reins and throw off the load. Why are you just standing there? Go on, help them! The head of the gnome expedition was visibly dissatisfied as he shouted. Choose a character. One of us tried to jump into the cart to untie the ponies, still standing in the water. Gathering our strength, we began pulling the cart from the river. We left the cart alone for the moment, hoping to find something helpful nearby. We got really strong characters. Let's see if we can do this. Ready? On my... ready? Ah, my foot! The head of the gnome expedition yelled, his face red and angry. With help like this, my possessions will be down the river in a flash. Just go to the camp or find those runaway ponies. And some other way to help. Gods! We tried to pull the cart out. We left the cart alone for a moment, hoping to find... Alright, let's... Can we find anything nearby? Okay, what do we got?
The path is clear.
Anything that way? Nope. Loot what we can. What we got here, by the way. Yes. Oh, shit. Didn't mean to collect all that. Yeah. Drop. Drop all this crap. Yeah. All of this. Just drop it all. Alright, let's go. Let's try and see what we can find.
Let's head out.
Anything at all? Okay, we got the ponies. There we go. A pair of scared ponies stands before you. They don't run away, but they snort loudly and neigh as you approach. These are most likely the spare pair of ponies the gnome expedition used to pull their cart. When the kobolds attacked, they were tied to the cart, so they just pulled themselves free and fled to the forest. Okay. Hey, these are my ponies. Stupid animals, why'd you come? Why'd you flee the camp? The gnome glares at the ponies, who seem unperturbed. On the other hand, if you were smart, I suppose you'd want me to pay for your services. I guess it's all our best interest that you stay stupid. We try to calm the ponies. We got a DC 15 with a +9 from Omari. There we go. Soothed by your voice, the ponies let you touch them and stroke their manes. You decide to lead them to the river to help drag the gnome's cart out. Okay. Alright. Down here.
Tread lightly.
Okay, now we can try with the ponies. Alright, let's begin. Okay, can't do that yet. Let's head this way. Is there anything else? Or wait, can we interact with the horses? The ponies, or whatever. Yeah. Come on, come on. There we go, that's the one we gotta click. Alright, doesn't work. We head out and we go further up and we try and find something else. Maybe a rope or more horses or something. Okay, that's the edge.
We will prevail.
Nope. Triggered it. Alright, we got one.
Let us strike as one.
Okay.
You can't stop me. You deserved it.
A solid plan.
All right. Strike the bastard, the alpha wolf. There we go, got him. Take what we can, skin, collect all. Let's keep going. Collect that, ring of protection in the middle of the forest. Alright, nothing there. Maybe there was an encampment somewhere along this way on the lower side of the river. We'll go that way. Cure moderate wounds on yourself, buddy.
The path is clear.
Alright. Let's keep going. What do we got? Some more kobolds.
Enemy near.
This requires your attention.
Forward.
Okay, we got a boom slayer there.
Any
That's
last
something
wishes?
big.
Consider me.
Bastard. Okay. I don't want to deal with you anymore.
Hey, can someone help me? This is
Archer.
where I step in.
Here we go. Okay, take what we can. Just all the gold pieces. Then we search the encampment. Okay. Camp looks habitable. Gnomes were fierce. Okay, let's see what we can get.
What you want?
Okay. Corpses. Collect all this. Renowned explorer. Okay. Crowbar might work. Alright, there we go. We got some stuff. Come on. We gotta save the cart. Alright, use the cart. Okay. Tie the rope to the cart, gathering our strength and pulling. Okay. Put the crowbar under the cart's wheels. While the gnomes were busy fighting the kobold, so we did that. Set under the wheel, the crowbar wedged into position against the stones in the riverbed, making the process of pulling the cart out of the river safer. We tied the rope to the cart. 1, 2, 3, and the rope was securely tied to the cart, making it easier to pull out. Good lesson for every adventure. Never leave home without a rope. Rope is your best friend. Yeah, and then can we pull out? If you're certain you're ready, then let's do it. But be careful. Imagine the cart's full of gold or ale or some other thing you couldn't bear to lose. Valerie frowned. Better you should trust in our dignity than our greed, Sir Gnome. The gnome rolls his eyes. For God's sakes, whatever, just pull the cart. We tried to pull the cart. The cart creaked and creaked, sounding as though it was sobbing. The boards strained against the combined stress of the rushing water, pulling against everyone trying to pull the cart ashore. Unfortunately for the cart, both sides were of equal strength. Something had to be done, or the poor cart would have been torn to pieces. Could do lore 19. We've got a +8 to that. The exhausted ponies had worked themselves up into lather and foam, covered their bits and teeth. The Baron tried to calm and reassure them. Intelligence 13. Okay, we only got a +2 to intelligence. It seems that there was little sense in wedging the lever behind the wheel. It wasn't the least bit stable, and all our efforts were wasted. Baron tried to find a better use for it. Strength 14. We got a -1 to that. Why do you think we were strong hands? Athletics 20. No bad. Charisma. Everyone was soaking wet, freezing, exhausted. The group's initial enthusiasm had all but vanished. They glared at the cart scornfully, ready to give up and forget about it. Like it was a bad dream. The Baron decided it was time to raise everyone's spirits, be it with a smile, a noble order, or some shouting, or even a good round of swearing. I got a +5 to that. I got a +8 to nature lore. So let's think about this. That's a higher DC, though, so I need to get a 10 for the charisma check, or I need to get an 11 for the lore. Let's try and get everybody together. Come on. Come on, guys, we can do this. Failed. After resisting our efforts for a while, the cart finally began to give, squelching loudly in the mud. It jerked forward, and as the head of the gnome expedition opened his mouth, let out a loud victory cry. But that sly snake of a river decided that if she couldn't have her trophy, no one would. Instead of riding out on the ford, the cart began to lean, then slowly, almost magnificently, fell on its side. The scream of triumph only made it halfway before the shrieking of the gnome's throat. Son of a troll! The perplexed gnome gazed on as his collection of boxes and packages and bags slowly floated away. Well then, thank you, travelers, for your oh-so invaluable help. Hey, we tried. Yep. Well, let's talk to him at least. Yep, let's talk to him. The gnome that stands before you wears dirty, ragged clothes. They used to look stylish and wealthy long ago, but those times are long gone. His black hair is matted. A deep, fresh scratch crosses his cheek. Despite of this rather pathetic look, the gnome behaves with inner dignity and even manages to maintain a superior manner.
Jubilos Nartropple, a humble servant to no one. Oh, too bad your grace proved to not be capable enough to save my cart. Well, one shouldn't expect a faster reaction from a baron himself. After all, it's common knowledge that titled persons usually hire a bunch of advisors to do all the thinking for them. So, they must have some other bunch to jump in the rivers and save carts.
Okay.
By the way, it's a shame no one organized a greeting party when such a famous and popular person as myself arrived to your capital. I wasn't expecting a red carpet covered with rose petals, but you could at least have sent ahead some delegation.
I don't know you.
Oh, at least some of my servants are still alive. Do you know how much it costs to train a proper servant?
Jubilis jabbers too fast, never even stopping to take a breath. You can see he's piled up some emotions and just needs to get them all out of his system.
Sounds like your servants are nothing but tools to you. Truly, with masters like that, being a servant is not much of an improvement over being a slave.
Okay, Octavia, this might be somebody that's useful. I agree with you, but still.
What's this then? Huh. Run along, little girl, the grown-ups are talking.
You're 3 foot nothing, man.
So, you're not only arrogant, but a boorish swine as well. Why am I not surprised at all?
Octavia, please. This might be a dignitary. Okay.
Also, while I'm on that, I'd like to make an official announcement. The roads in your barony are in terrible condition. People must search for wading fords to cross the rivers because no one had bothered themselves with building bridges, and honest travelers have to take the risk of being attacked by kobolds at any moment.
I don't know if you understand just how little amount of time has transpired between me gaining the barony, me just arriving in the capital. Let's be honest.
So, how did you say your barony was called? Oh, whatever, never mind. When I draw the map of these lands, I will call them the End of All Roads. Dirt Beyond. I guess it's a fitting name.
The gnome falls silent at last. He just watches you with shifty eyes, opening and closing his mouth, as if he wants to say something more, but hasn't come up with anything yet.
You think too highly of yourself, Sir Gnome. Behave with some dignity while you're on these lands.
Oh, I see. The very spirit of knighthood embodied. So, what do you propose me to do, Sir Knight? Should I lie?
Okay.
By no means. But you shall not be so blunt. I bid you to express your opinion in a more courteous form.
Your problem, Sir Knight, is that you worry too much about form and appearance. Unsurprisingly so, considering your pretty face. As for me, I worry solely about the content.
Okay. Valerie blushes even more and turns away. It seems to you that the gnome has stepped on her toes. How do you know I am a baron? That's a good thing. I'm wearing just the robes that I adventure with. I don't have a crown or anything. I don't have the money for one. Well, I mean, I have money to spend on better things.
I've already told you I visited your capital some time ago. Weren't you listening to me? And I'm used to being greeted by officials when I arrive to settlements of at least some importance. The glory of myself and my exploits usually precedes me, and officials usually prefer to be on good terms with me.
Didn't know you'd come.
Yes, you're right. I should have remembered that your lands are in the middle of nowhere, and you don't get updates on important things in time.
Don't like the man. I don't know you.
That was either a stupid and offensive joke or a case of total ignorance. The latter, I hope. I'm famous as a traveler, a cartographer, an alchemist, and a journalist. The students of all the major universities study the world using my maps. My articles for different journals are well known everywhere, from Andorran to Brevoy. You've definitely read some issues of National Alchemy, haven't you? Culinary Almanac of the Inner Sea? Or the most scandalous one, The Independence, describing benefits and drawbacks of governments and regimes in different states. Didn't read any of these? Oh, well, don't answer that. I don't want to spoil my impression of your barony. It's spoiled enough already. It would be hard for me to write at least something positive otherwise.
Wait, the Jubilost Narthropple? Author of the 14.5 eulogies to Pitax? Oh my! Every student in the Academy of Grand Arts devoured your books, especially after King Aravetti banned them, tried you in absentia, and sentenced you to death.
Oh, okay.
I see at least someone in this shabby barony has at least a rudimentary education, even if they got them in such a dubious establishment as the Pitax Academy of Grand Arts.
I was expelled for irreverence.
Ha! Is this so? Well, if it is true, then you just might not be beyond hope.
Okay. All right. Lindsay, he's insulted multiple individuals of the party in no less than 5 minutes. So maybe a little colder. So what's such a famous person doing so far from civilization in my horrible barony?
I pursued 2 objectives. The first is to write an article on this new barony of yours for the Independence. The second is to draw a detailed map of the stolen lands. Before this barony appeared, it had been too dangerous to come here, but now an opportunity has appeared. Thanks to you, I must add. So, as you can see, the freedom of speech sometimes grants positive comments too. Anyway, I'm almost done with this journey. My article is practically ready, so is the map. All that's left to do now is to find an old Dwarven Outpost established here several centuries ago.
So what happened here? How'd your cart end up in the river?
My party and I set up camp at the bank of this river. We'd just finished kindling the fire when that purple bastard appeared. You know what he told me? He introduced himself as the King of the Kobolds and told me he needed our clothes because he wanted to dress his subjects properly, you see, as long as they've established the kingdom of their own. That's literally what he said. I wonder, where did he learn the words? Obviously, I told him to buzz off. Some kobold wants to strut around wearing the clothes of the great cartographer Jubilos Nartropple. No way. So I've been explaining my position to him, being rather eloquent too, suggesting he and his so-called kingdom might as well fall into the deepest sinkhole. In the meantime, I've noticed that kobolds have already started to untie my cart. Well, I called my men to keep the cart safe. They couldn't guess what to do on their own, just stood there with their mouths ajar. Then things heated up as the fighting started, and while we were fighting, the ponies dragged the cart to the river. Stupid animals.
Okay. I don't like the way you're speaking to me.
So what? I don't like a lot of things. You know what I do when I don't like something? I try to change it. For example, I don't like your barony's roads, so I've reported to the authorities about it, namely you.
Yeah,
and
I'm kind of the
you,
only authority
instead
here.
of pouting, you'd better get down to business and try to resolve the trouble.
Technically, you're the trouble right now, so you might want to rephrase
I can
that.
see it's your first encounter with the freedom of speech. Just do what you consider right, and let others discuss it. You know, not everyone gets a chance to become a baron, so discussing a baron's actions is actually all the unlucky ones can do.
Actually, I don't mind the freedom of speech. Chaotic good, lawful neutral. Chaotic good, lawful neutral. Chaotic good, lawful neutral. I don't mind it. Still, I would like to think a mix of this. I don't mind freedom of speech, but can you just, like, you know, tone it down a little bit? It's Coswin. Like, I would do this. Like, come on, man, be a little nicer. But Coswin doesn't like government, so yeah.
Wow, a baron supporting freedom of speech. Well, that's news. Remains to be seen what you'll say after reading my article.
I gotta read an article. What's this dwarvish... oh, actually, no. Aram wants to see some dwarvish ruins. So, yeah, do you have any word on this?
Your ignorance is stunning. You create a barony, and still you know nothing about the lands you own.
I've been fighting people
I'll
on
have
this
to enlighten
land.
you on the subject.
Oh, God.
You see, long ago there was a dwarven trade route crossing these lands. It connected Five Kings Mountains and the north. The route was so important to the dwarves that they were generous enough to set a number of outposts along it, manned with armed guardians to provide protection for the traders.
Okay.
One of these outposts must be somewhere nearby, lost and completely forsaken, but nothing can avoid the watchful eye of the great cartographer Jubilos Nartropple. I will find this outpost, and I will mark its location on the map. You can trust me on that.
Actually, wow, okay. Coswin made some connection I didn't. Yeah, could the trolls be using this as a... That would make a lot of sense. Can they be using this as a lair?
Why not? Dwarves like being underground, trolls like being underground too. It's quite possible after dwarves left, their warm and cozy place fell into the hands of less attractive creatures.
Yeah, I'm looking for the trolls lair. Maybe we could work together here.
You seem to be a capable companion, but I'll pass for now. I still have to count my losses after the river took my cart and all my stuff.
All right. Well, if I find this outpost, I'll let you know.
I would be grateful. I'll stay here for a while. I need to sort things out.
Right. I wonder if I had helped if the cart had actually been saved. That somewhere in the region there's an ancient abandoned outpost. Okay. I wonder if we had saved the cart if he would have joined us as a party member. That would have probably been a very good thing if that had happened. Let's cure light wounds on Octavia. Alright, let's instead have Lindsay. She seems to roll really well on these.
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's a lot better.
Yes.
Less good.
Yes.
Alright. Well, let's head back out here. It's fine. I didn't know that was an encounter. Like, I legitimately didn't know that was going to happen. So that's a good idea that I stopped by this fort. There was a chance I completely missed that. Ruined Watchtower. Overgrown Pool. Let's enter the Overgrown Pool. So what do we got here? What the hell's going on? Correct. A group of hardy people with axes, most likely lumberjacks, are menacing a fragile Nixie. Two lumberjacks stand before her, relaxed and disconnected. The lead lumberjack shakes his fist at the Nixie and yells, "Let them go, you swamp freak! If you don't, I'll burn this rotten grove to the ground, on my word!" "You're the freaks, and my name is..." oh god, Milanese? "Thank you very much. If you keep being rude like this, I'll drown these jumbos in the lake, understand?" Noticing you, the lead lumberjack grins and waves. "You there, you seem a capable sort." You are, Baron. "Interested in some coin? Name is Korax. We're loggers here in the forest. We could use your help in freeing our people from this Gorgon's claws." "We should help her." "No, them. I don't know. Why can't people, and Fae live in peace? Solve the problem with force. You know what? The hell's with it. Neutral, leave. What's going on here?" "We were minding our own business, cutting trees, splitting logs, when this hag shows up out of nowhere, screeches at us, then jinxes two of ours, and threatens to drown them. With these Fae breeding like rabbits everywhere, what's an honest, hard-working man to do?" "Stupid Jumbo. You're the ones who breed like rabbits, spreading into more and more space. We've lived here since forever. I've grown these trees for more than 100 years, now know them down to the tiniest leaf, and then you show up with your stupid axes to ruin everything." Okay. Try to reason with the loggers. Okay, let's do a chaotic good. Let them go. They have families. Let's not cause like some problems here. You wish, as soon as I let them go, the whole lot of them will attack. If these goons want to go home to their stupid families, they'll have to have a promise to steer clear of my grove first. Okay, let's try and... okay, listen to me, people. Alright, the longers exchange glances, holding their hand on their axes. Do Knowledge World 22. We have a plus 12 to that. The forest is big. I'm sure you can find other trees to fell. Diplomacy 22, plus 11. So, it's actually a better chance with diplomacy. Quarreling with Fae is more trouble than it's worth. You have no idea how powerful and thin-skinned they can be. Could do lawful neutral. I'm the Baron of these lands, rightful ruler of the realm, and I haven't granted anyone logging rights to this forest. You should leave now, or you may regret it. Intimidate 22. Okay, so it's a plus 11 on all of these. Alright. Let's do it. Let's just... You don't want to quarrel with Fae. Let's not get into this. Failed. So what then? We just hang ourselves and be done with it? There's all manner of beasts in these forests, and we can't roll over for all of them. Instead of giving up, we should try and just keep on fighting until we wipe out every last one of them. You do understand what calamities you're calling upon yourselves. The forest is deep and wild and full of terrible secrets. When the full power of the Fae wizardry falls upon you, you'll remember this day and ask yourself if some longs were worth suffering the never-ending misery, and you will answer, no, of course not, but it would be too late. Lumberjacks looks at the Nixie with suspicion. Liz has a scary face as she stretches her webbed hands out towards Korax, wiggling her fingers. Whoa! All right. It's not like we're dead set on this grove in the first place. If she gives back our people, we'll leave this place in peace. On my word. Malays, they will leave this place and never return. Please, release the hostages. Oh, sure. And who's going to bring back my trees, then? They'll come in here, smash everything in this light, and then just leave? No deal. Fix what you broke, then maybe we'll let them go. How are we supposed to restore trees that are already cut down? Humans are always like this. Destroy, and then when it's time to clean up your mess, poof, gone. Fine, then. Since you're clearly clueless, I'll tell you what to do. There are these magic thingies that look like little feathers. The feather token. Throw one on the ground anywhere and a tree springs up. Your people's mages who tread the swamps more often than the others, they can make them. Buying a couple won't break your bank. My cousin Teresa can also make them. She lives in the Gnarl Marshes. Either way, you bring a handful of them back here. I'll let these goons go. Okay, diplomacy 25. Hey, let's see. Can we just go ahead and roll well on this check? Failed. You think we're just gonna? You think we just have a pile of gold lying around to go throwing away at a magic shop? We can barely feed our families. All right. Wait here. I'll bring the feathers. They'll be waiting right here. It's not like they have anything else to do, right? Okay. Bring a handful of feather tokens to the Overgrown Bay. Alright. Overgrown Pool. We'll have to... don't even know where we'd buy that at. We don't have any magic shops. Unwanted legacy. Oh, where's it at? Feather tokens. We can buy them from mages living around the swamps or ask the Dryad Teresa, who lives in the Gnarl Marshes, to give us some. Okay. So, in the swamps, which I'm fairly certain the swamps are down, like, here, southern Gnarl Marshes. Well, either way, let's keep moving.
I need to catch my breath.
Alright, well, we're almost...
My strength fades.
Alright, I think almost everybody's good. Let's try and get to evening.
We should gather our strength.
Alright. We'll do this and begin resting.
I heard that in a faraway tribe, people entertain themselves by throwing huge logs. Whoever throws it the farthest is the strongest.
Throwing logs. Ha! What weaklings. The mammoth lords lift mammoths. I used to lift 2 at once.
I think that's a lie. Doubt. Alright, well, we screwed up the hearty meal. The Ruined Watchtower. An ancient and half-ruined watchtower lost in the depths of the Gnarl Marshes is the local point of interest and a source of inspiration for several legends of the area. These tales compete with each other, telling the tower's construction and more popularity, its destruction by mysterious, incomprehensible, and usually supernatural forces. The truth is a bit more prosaic. I'm not actually sure what that word is. The watchtower was built by dwarves. Hey, there we go. Used to guard a local trade route, which last saw use centuries ago. Clear proof of this can be seen in the statue of Torag that stands near the foot of the watchtower. Okay. Well, we got that. Let's go towards the watchtower. There we go. Let's enter.
Let's head out.
It's an old dwarvish road. What do we got here? Grass is spread between the cobbles of the ancient road. Just a dog here? Woof woof. Alright, just a random dog. What is it, boy? Okay, somewhere this way. This is a trap, isn't it? Feels like it's a trap. What do we got?
The path is clear.
Oh. Oh, it's a companion of yours. Oh god. Ikundayo? Following the strange wolf, we climb the top of the hill, and there you see a black-skinned man sitting under a spreading bush. The wolf runs up to him and sits near, whimpering.
Whom you brought? Get lost, dog. You're not needed here.
Alright, the man asks the wolf. He raises his arms as if to hit the wolf, but the animal doesn't even try to dodge, still whining. The man's hands go down, never finishing the blow. The man staggers to his feet, and you notice there's blood soaking the right side of his leather leggings. He's very tall, rather lanky. While he stands before you, leaning on his bow, his hurt leg trembles slightly, and the right side of his leggings darkens again, with fresh bleeding. Nevertheless, the man doesn't reveal his pain, except for a strained jaw and heavy gaze.
Ikundayo.
Ikundayo. Okay, good.
Wow, sounds like a spell.
I guess you were wrong. This is his name.
No way! Who could have guessed that?
It is so.
I'm Coswin, the Baron of these lands. It's good to meet you.
Ecken for decent ones. Are you decent?
Yeah, I guess so. You're bleeding. We need to patch you up.
Patched up already. This wound isn't the deadliest.
Stares at his legs as if seeing it for the first time. Okay. Not a local, are you?
The name gave it up. Or my skin color. Yes. Bred and nourished up away from here.
Why's your wolf whining?
Not mine.
Looks to be yours, buddy. Yes, I'm a friend. So what are you doing here?
Sitting. Waiting. Hunting.
Who? Can I help you?
Lured your curiosity. Saves me right. We'll start again. The name's Ekondayo. Ekken for decent ones. Used to be a carpenter in the Bristle Hill village. Trolls attacked. Killed everyone but me. We'll show them that was a mistake.
Okay.
They all deserve death. Kargad, most of all. Rock Troll. He led them.
Alright. How'd you get wounded?
I've been hunting trolls until they have hunted back. The wound can't stop the hunting, just slows it down.
Okay. How can a mere carpenter be chasing trolls efficiently?
You were not always a baron. Here, I was not always a carpenter. Nothing to lose anymore.
Did you know the local trolls were not afraid of fire now?
No, didn't. Fire arrows couldn't murder them. Now I know the reason. Had no chance here. Can see it now.
Why are you sitting on this hill?
Troll feet often followed this path. Can't hunt them anymore. That's why I wait. They will come here eventually.
I'm hunting trolls too. You want to join? His face gets a trifle calmer. You can see he's glad to hear your offer.
We'll mark on your map all the places where troll feet tread the land. Troll's lair must be somewhere nearby.
Okay.
The spirit is strong, but the body falters. We'll follow you wherever you need, but this wound must be tended by healers in the capital. Don't want to burden. One more thing, before we go.
Yeah.
Troll feet tread this path often. Would like to stay here until they appear.
All right. It's a great place for an ambush. Let's do it. 3 hours. All right. Who do we want to get rid of for this? Who do we want to get rid of? Let's replace Octavia for right now. Okay. Well, we're going to have to go ahead and do some fighting, but we're going to have to do that next time because we are at the end of this episode, according to the time. So, thank you for joining me for this episode. If you'd like to, please leave a comment down below. Hit that like button. If you want to help support the channel, hit the subscribe button down below, as well as taking a look at the description down below where I have links to my Discord and my Patreon page. I'll see all of you in the next episode. Bye!